Hi guys, so I'm doing something a little bit different today. Like the YouTube channel name is Misha's Manic Musings, so it's been a little bit all of the same at the moment, so I thought I would do something more about one of my other loves in life. Apart from makeup, apart from books, which will soon be on the channel I'm sure, my other love is films, as you can gather from what we're looking at here. Oh, Laurel and Hardy down the bottom there. There's quite a few, and they don't all fit in the shot. So on the top left there, that's all my Disney animations. So we've got Blu-rays, Steelbooks, and one DVD. Then the next couple of rows down here is Blu-rays. So that's, I don't have a big collection, I've only been collecting them for maybe a couple of years now, something like that. So I don't have a big collection, and then along the very bottom row that you can just see is TV shows. That's also TV shows in there as well that I need to watch. And then there's my DVDs, which I'm gradually cutting down on. The ones that I can find on Blu-ray, unless the extras are different, I just get rid of the DVDs. But apart from that, that's them all. So that's just a quick overview. Let's get into the actual video. I'm not going to go into too much detail about these. I mean, some of them I have and haven't watched. I was thinking about this and I thought, you know what film I haven't seen in ages is Entrapment. And I don't know why it suddenly hit me that I haven't seen this in ages. I thought Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery made a good combination together. I thought they were really good. I don't know if it's going to have stood the test of time though. It's very 90s in that sense, because what year was it released? 1999. Oh, it's later than I actually thought it was. It's a good film. It's one of those films I kind of wish there was a sequel. The ending kind of leaves it open-ended. I'm sure there's a better way of phrasing that, but whatever. I love Sylvester Stallone. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. So what could be better than two of them in the film at the same time? I wasn't sure I was going to like this film. I remember seeing it like advertised or like pre-release, and it was actually called a different film. It was called a different name. I think it was The Tomb or something like that. And I actually think I prefer that name to Escape Plan, but I'm just not sure. I also like how Katrina, I'm not sure how to pronounce her surname, is in this, from Outlander. So if you're looking out for that, she's in this, and one of the Graham McTavish is also in the last Rambo film as well, which is quite cool to see them. But this is a good film, I really enjoyed it actually. And 50 Cent. Oh, he's probably not called 50 Cent, it's Curtis Jackson. But he still has Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. This is a good film, well worth seeing. I just preferred the original name. I'm sure that was on IMDb or something like that, that it wasn't originally called Escape Plan. I might be wrong, I might be thinking of a completely different film now. Of course I own 50 Shades of Grey. I still prefer the books. I like the films. I'm not keen on Jamie Dornan as Christian. I'm not keen on her as Anna either. When I originally read the books, and I bought them because everyone was making such a fuss about them, they were hyped up, and I think I read them back to back, and I've read them since as well. I like Anna's character. She reminds me of myself a little bit. I like Anna's character in the books, I should say that. She reminds me of myself. I don't think the casting was perfect. I know there was a lot of chat about that guy, Charlie, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about. There was loads of stuff about him being Christian, and I didn't like him either. I mean, I like the look of Jamie Dornan, but I think it's not the Christian that is in my head. I prefer the books. I also prefer the strong sex. I like the, so far there's only one book from his perspective, which is Grey, which is the 50 Shades of Grey book, but from his perspective. I really liked those as well, and I think she is planning to release more. Of course, a 50 Shades Darker from his perspective would be good as well. He's a bit more, like when you see Jamie Dornan, he's always got a beard and he's always quite stubbly, and then you saw him in 50 Shades Grey and he was like clean shaven, and this he's a bit more rough and ready. I think there's a couple of little dips, so that's the only thing I will say. I was not bored, but I was just, my mind was drifting. This is related to a rant I had in my Steelbook collection. The fact that I have Final Destination 5 in Steelbook, but the rest are in Blu-ray. Now, I love these films. People give them a hard ride and don't like them and bitch about them frequently. I like the way, not ruining anything, if you've seen them right through, I like the way they all kind of tie in from this one to number 5. I like Devon Sawa in it, I like Ali Larter, I like Kerr Smith. So of course I had to get them all. I mean, really, Final Destination 2, you really only get Ali Larter coming back from the first film, and then they just kind of went with it. They didn't really bother to directly reference. It was more like kind of nods to the original films until I get to the last one. Not sure which one is my favourite. I reckon it was this one. I think this is one of my favourites. I mean, I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this. I think the first two, or particularly the first one, still have a special place in my heart. I think out of all of them, I would probably say this is my favourite, with number 5, kind of. I really wish this was a book, because I don't understand the film. Kind of similar to Cloud Atlas. It makes me, watching this film and watching Cloud Atlas makes me think of each other's films. Cloud Atlas, the book, didn't get into it. I tried Cloud Atlas film, didn't get into it. Kind of wish this was a book just so I could say I couldn't get into it. And I don't actually know why I bought it again. It's one of those films I think I'll go back and see if I can understand it. I wasn't expecting to like this because I'm not that keen on Justin Timberlake, and I think they could have gone with a better actor against, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, Mila Kunis or whatever it is. I'm never sure with pronunciations of things. I think this is a good film. I like watching it. I found on rewatches I am getting a little bored, so it's maybe not quite as good as the first time you do see it. I haven't seen the original of this film, which is quite bad to say. I must at some point get around to watching it and seeing how it compares to the remake. I mean, you've got Colin Farrell, you've got David Tennant in lots of leather and lots of eyeliner, and you've got Anton Yelchin. Such a shame. I wasn't sure what I was going to think of this film. I kind of liked it because there's a lot of really unintentionally funny moments. I do like Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. I think he's brilliant in The Tudors and a couple of other films that I've seen him in. I'm just not sure this was the right role for John Travolta. I could see other actors doing this, I just wasn't keen on him. I used to love John Travolta, like I loved him in Grease. what he's trying to do with his roles now. Didn't really like him in this, and it kind of ruins the film for me a little bit. This is another film that's really crying out for a Steelbook release or a special edition or something, especially after the death of Patrick Swayze. I really did think there's been a lot of kind of reboots of Dirty Dancing, the most notable being the Abigail Breslin recent one, which I still haven't seen. I do think this needs a Steelbook. I mean, at the time of filming this, we are now July 2017, there's no sign of even a special edition Blu-ray being released. Like, there's a special edition of Dirty Dancing with like memories of Patrick Swayze, and I just think, looking back on this from the cast now and remembering him as one of like his most memorable performances. I watched this, didn't particularly get it, and then I read the book and loved the book, so I rewatched it again, and I think again it's one of those films that you see the film first and then read the book. I think it helps you picture it more, and plus it helped me with the sequels to the book as well. I do think she reminds me of Anna Kendrick though. I don't know if it's the hair or the face in this particular shot. Don't think this has really got... I know from IMDb there was a lot of issues with Jeff Bridges trying to get it made. I know he was reading a lot of it with Lloyd Bridges, obviously, as you can see there. And I know that the rest of the film, the rest of the books, because they all kind of tie into each other, I wish they would do the books as well, the rest of the books. So I think there's 4 books in the series. I've got all as a special edition hardback book from Amazon, and the books are really good, because when you finish the first book, which is based on this one obviously, you go on to the next book and it's completely unrelated to the first book, and you're thinking, what the hell is going on here? And then you keep reading and you gradually realise what's happening without ruining it for anyone. Then you read the other 2 books and they all do kind of tie into each other. It takes a little while, so I will say if you've read the first book and you're going on to read the second book, try and forget about the first book to begin with, just so you can enjoy the story more. Another film that's crying out for a special edition is Grease. I mean, this is the rocking edition. How classic this film is, how brilliant it is. I really do think it could do with a special edition. I do still have the special edition, and it's actually got a leather jacket over the top of it. Kind of not wanting to get rid of it now, because at the time I think it was quite expensive for a DVD when I got it. I was kind of going along the lines that this would be another kind of Rocky film. What's that one with De Niro? Raging Bull? I've never seen Raging Bull, if that's the one I'm thinking of. I thought this was quite good. It was, again, quite... Rocky versus Raging Bull, I was right. It's quite funny as well. I think they kind of... I think there's a lot of scenes that were possibly cut out of this. And I think it's always the same when you get Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger together. There's always a lot more of them like taking the piss and stuff like that. I remember in Expendables there was a lot of that as soon as they met up at the end of the film. It's quite funny. It's not the best film though, that's the only thing I would say.